Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Guildhall AXD. We are so excited to have you here with us today. We are back in Agonia, so thank you so much for joining us. We can't wait to get back into today's adventure. Joining us today, as always, are our amazing adventurers, Mora the Enchantress, Goro, our Battlemaster Fighter, I, our Light Cleric, and Ryu, the Drake Warden Ranger. If you were with us last time, you will remember that our adventurers had returned from the Great Forest and were staying at a small town named Two Oaks, where they encountered both the mysterious Dr. Von Brittlewood, but also three brothers who are nephews to the local lord. And trouble ensued when the children mysteriously went missing. Looking for help to find the children, our adventurers turned to these three brothers who seemed to have maybe a little bit more information than they were letting on. This led the party to Juro and the Thieves Guild because they were asked by the brothers to collect information on an upcoming shipment. It didn't take long, however, for the adventurers to strike a deal with Juro and pull something of a double cross on the brothers. After getting the children back by supposedly completing the task at hand, the adventurers have met back up with Juro and are making their way to the described spot in the secret note that he gave to the brothers. So with that, we are so excited. We're chomping at the bit to dive back in. I hope you will notice that we have a new layout. We're super excited about that. Still testing out a couple of the things, hoping all the alignment is set and whatnot. In fact, I'm not seeing the chat come up on stream, so we're going to have to work with that a little bit during the break. But for now, such it is. The show must go on, and we are excited for the show at hand. So again, thank you all so much for joining us, and we're going to dive right back into the Strophes. Our party has just left the outer gates of Two Oak and are following Juro, a tall, strong, intimidating man who is the head of the Two Oaks Thieves Guild. And he's cutting his way through the forest to a spot he described in the notice given to the brothers. The brothers are under the understanding that this was stolen from his ledger by the party members, but is in fact something of a red herring. So the adventurers are fast in tow. Juro is moving quickly, assuming they are following. And that's where we will begin our adventures tonight.
In a time now lost to history, the world was ruled by the forces of darkness and chaos. Then the god Dayran, along with his younger siblings, created light. They rose up and ousted the old gods, bringing new life to the world. Despite the new gods' victory, some of the forces of evil managed to escape banishment and continued to plague mankind. Then, 500 years ago, the great warrior king Agon battled the final and strongest demon lord, and from his victory, the glorious kingdom that bears his name Agonia sprung forth. Peace flourished as the kingdom became a center of culture, magic, religion, and military might. To guard against the demons and monstrosities that might lurk in the dark shadows and far corners of the world, the Adventurers Guild stands ready. With sword and spell in hand, these brave souls keep the bright light of Dayran and the courage of Agon alive. These are their songs. These are the Strophes of Agonia.
Yes, you've made your way now a little bit through the forest, and we're in the dead of night. It's just about midnight now. And as you're making your way through the forest, you can kind of occasionally see the main road that you came in on. And eventually you see a small road kind of leading away, just just slightly enough of a path to that a wagon could pull off on, and you get the sense that you're kind of following that road. Oh, it's not much further now, just over this crest.
Guildmaster, it's just us and Juro, no other accompaniment from his
Correct.
guild.
It's a good thing we're getting there early. It'll give us plenty of time to set up, you know? Don't want to make it too obvious.
My thinking as well. I think once we get there, there are a few smuggling pits where we tend to hide equipment that's coming through this area. We can use it to take a rest and keep watch and make sure that the brothers keep an eyeful watch on what the brothers' plans are.
Is it purely to watch, or are we taking lives tonight?
Oh, I certainly wouldn't mind to take some lives tonight.
Excellent.
After everything Dave done, I don't think there's much else we can do.
The brothers be familiar with his location.
Familiar enough. There's probably not much in the area that they don't know of. If they know it's one of our smuggling spots, that I don't know. But there's a small shack up there where people can rest their horses. Travelers can rest horses and drink by a small creek there. So it's not an uncommon area for travelers in the know to pull off on.
Well, I would welcome a rest if possible before we get into action.
Yes, I agree. I think that would be a great idea. Yeah.
Yes, the hour is late. And as the group kind of is having this conversation, you come out onto a clearing, and that path kind of opens up. And if you give me a second here, I'll pull up the map and give you guys a sense of where you are. For those in the know, Ryu's player and I live close to each other. And the other day, just before heading out of town for the 4th, I spilled coffee all over my desk, ruining my keyboard. So he is lending me one of his keyboards, but it's a PC keyboard, which means I know where none of the hotkeys or shortcuts are anymore.
Oh, no.
So everything might be just a moment slower, but I appreciate the patience. All right, so you come out onto this clearing. And I can zoom out a little bit to give you a better sense of the whole thing here. So you come out onto the clearing. And you notice that kind of towards the north, there is the hut as described by Juro. And it's unwalled. It's mostly just wooden posts along the perimeter with some hatching and areas to tie off your horse. There's a area to fill water with, a trough to fill water with, and some very large kind of stones. And you guys kind of approach from the west, and Juro points into the forest, and you can see where there are these kind of lumps of leaves and sticks that seem tied together upon closer inspection. And he'll point out, and he says, each of those has a small area dug out. You can hide in there for the time being and take a rest. And I'll keep an eye out for any action coming through the area.
Sounds good. I mean, if you watch for the first few hours, I'll gladly take a watch myself. You know, want to make sure all of us are well rested and ready to go.
I'd appreciate it. It's about midnight. He kind of, once you survey the area, he kind of motions to where these kind of bundles are and pulls them aside. And there are several, it's basically like a trench dug into the ground. And so, while not 5-star accommodations or anything, to kind of take a rest in hiding, it'll certainly work.
This will do. Let's rest up. Who knows when they'll be here.
I agree. All right, Koji, let's go. I call that one. I run over and just kind of hop into the nearest one.
I stifle a yawn and decide to look in my books for a few minutes, and then we'll head to get some rest myself.
I'm definitely gonna see Mora doing that, and I'll definitely hunker down probably next to her. And while you're looking at your book, Mora, I actually pull one out myself and start doing some small prayers and reading through my book.
Let out a big cat yawn, and then just clunk, just knock out.
I love it. Is it one of those big cat yawns where like your mouth opens really wide?
Yeah,
and
all the teeth.
Kind of pull back so we can see all of the teeth.
Yeah,
Yes.
all like ferocious and at the same time totally passive, sleepy.
Amazing.
I'm just chilling in my smuggler's hole, just playing with Koji, chatting, as one does with their Drake friends.
The first watch goes for several hours, and anyone who peeks out to observe Juro during this time will just kind of see in the moonlight this tall, caped, black caped man with kind of pulled back black hair, just standing. And as he stands, not really even hiding, it's as if he's just a vertical shadow. Like a shadow of a tree, solid, but also somehow blending into the night. And as he stares, almost seemingly unblinking, down into this opening, you wonder if you can even notice him breathing. He seems to be so still. But after several hours of seemingly not moving at all, he suddenly turns and walks to the trench area and puts a hand on Ryu's shoulder and says, "Come take a look," and will lead Ryu kind of back to the clearing.
You got it. And I hop out. Follow.
As you head back to the clearing, you notice as he points, ever so slightly, he reaches a hand up and he points to the edge of the clearing. And you just notice kind of a pair of hurried shadows, and they kind of tuck along the edge of the trees on the far side, coming up from the south. And they're kind of scurrying along, and they stop. And it seems as if they're talking to each other for a moment. And then they turn back around and head into the woods. And Juro will turn to you and says, "Surely some of the brothers' scouts deciding how they're going to approach the situation."
Do you think that they would come over this way? I mean, I know they would most likely get here early and want to probably set up an ambush of their own, but I don't know. Wouldn't want them to be standing right on top of us.
Agreed. But as long as we stay in the trenches for the time being, I think it's unlikely that we'll be found out. I say we just bide our time and keep a watchful eye. But I agree with the notion that they might very well show up early to set up an ambush of their own.
Yeah. Well, as long as we keep an eye out and are diligent, hopefully we can keep abreast of them.
Keep an eye out, and I'll return shortly. And with that, he kind of turns and moves away, disappearing into the woods.
Okay. Guildmaster, just to clarify, the trenches are kind of near the hutch, right?
No, the trenches are where
Uh,
you guys are on the map right now.
oh, perfect. Oh, okay. Perfect.
So
Perfect. I
you're...
misunderstood.
Nope, you're fine.
Can I actually, for my watch period, instead of going back in the trench, can I climb up the nearest tree and try and kind of get an overlooking view out of sight, stuff like it, so I can see more?
Yeah, the trees are actually pretty good sized trees here. They're not the size of the trees in the Great Forest, but I mean they're full blown trees. So yeah, you're fairly able to easily kind of climb up a tree and feel like you have a pretty good cover, but also a good vantage point over kind of the trail upcoming as well.
Mm-hmm. Cool. But yeah, I want to do that and then just kind of set up and take my watch, kind of keeping a diligent eye out while also kind of just like holding Koji and scratching him behind the horns, all that stuff.
Why don't you go ahead and give me a perception check?
Gladly. That's a natural one. I've been rolling a lot of those.
No.
Oh no!
So you kind of like begin scratching behind Koji's ears, right? And Koji, when he's, in a good mood, will, begin to purr, right? And is somewhat cat-like in that. And so he kind of snuggles up on your kind of chest and lap area and begins to take something of a cat nap. And eventually, you doze off as well. And you don't wake up again until you feel the hair on the back of your neck begin to stand on end. And you hear this voice in your ear that says, "They're coming." And you turn your head, and up in top of the tree, face right next to yours, is Juro's. But he's not looking at you. He's like looking down the path, kind of crouched up on the branch right alongside you. And as he says they're coming, he steps off of the branch and, in a standing position, kind of drops to the base of the tree, drops back to the ground, his cape kind of flowing up in the air, his feet pointed downwards as he very kind of gracefully drops and lands on his feet and begins making his way to the trenches.
Oh my god, this guy
I
is
like
so
to-
cool.
I like to think that when he does that, I do the classic like and like jump in the air and kind of grab the branch and just climb back up. Like, oh, okay, yep, And then I'm actually so I still have pretty good vantage up in this tree, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm gonna stay up there.
Okay, great. I'm just going to move you real quick.
Smart.
We're going to say you're up there, okay?
Yep.
Juro approaches the trenches and rouses the rest of you from your sleep and says, "There's movement. Everybody take position."
Okay. Okay.
I will stay in the trench, but in a readied kind of stance to kind of leap out, knowing that I'm wearing plate armor, could be clanking everywhere if I try to hide right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, similarly, I don't want to be visible here.
Yeah, and from where you guys are, you're just kind of able to see over the ridge of this slightly elevated. I'd say it's about 5 feet slant down into kind of this open area that you see. And what you see next, after waiting a moment of silence, you begin to see a wagon approaching. And driving the wagon you're able to see two people kind of sitting on that front driver. Let me go ahead and pull them up real quick.
Yeah.
And this
So-
has only been a short rest then?
No, you got your full rest in. Sorry,
We can't hear you, GM.
Sorry, you got your full rest in. So
Oh.
this is Ryu fell asleep for several hours, and dawn has broken at this point. Kind of trundling up the path, you see this wagon, and why doesn't everybody go ahead and give me a perception check?
I got a 9.
Also a 9.
I got an 18.
And Mora?
Shocking, a 19.
Woo!
Okay.
Yes.
Ryu and Goro both take in the wagon as the driver kind of pulls the reins tight. And the driver of this wagon appears to be something of a heavy-set woman with a bonnet pulled kind of over her head. And next to her, there appears to be a much smaller, in fact, a small-sized humanoid kind of sitting next to her. And both of you kind of look at this as neither of those people seem to be anyone you've noticed so far in your journeys. Mora, you look at the driver and notice that it appears to be a very old gnome. A gnome that has dry, dark, leathery skin and a scraggly white beard and a mauve kind of twisted, gnarly, yellowish teeth. And it's kind of growling and yipping and yapping to itself as the wagon pulls to a stop. And Aya, you notice as the woman kind of hops off the wagon that it is clearly the second brother, right? There were the three brothers, Ichigo and Nico. It is clearly the middle brother, kind of dressed in women's clothing and kind of grumpily mumbling to himself as if he drew the short straw
End of the stick.
in this plan.
Since I'm hiding basically next to Goro, because he's seeing the thing, she's gonna lean in and like super quiet, like right in his ear, just like whispering to him very quietly, like, looks like that second brother got the short end of the stick.
And he's gonna get my long stick as I pull up my spear, ready to go.
Aya suppresses a little bit of a to herself.
And it's 100% like that's very like serious, like not even a joke. And why are you giggling at? What's so funny? And we only see the two there. Are we waiting? I'm gonna whisper back to Aya. You know, are we waiting for a cue? Can we? Let's dive in. Let's go.
I wanna roll another perception check, checking around, like, because obviously there's this giant cart that's rolled in. I want to do another perception check just really quick to see if there's anything else on the outskirts or like around the area. So like if there might be the other brothers like hanging back towards the rocks or the edge of the trees, and might like glance behind us really quick just to see if there's anyone behind us.
Go ahead and give me that perception check.
Yeah. Real quick. Not so great. It's a 12.
It's enough. You begin to notice as kind of coming out of the forest, in the same area that the shadowy figures were seen by Ryu in the night. You see as several of the other bandits and brothers emerge.
Cool. I'm gonna tap Goro on the shoulder and just kind of line my eyesight next up to his and point them out to show where they are back behind that hut thing.
I will silent nod and then look over to Juro with a kind of a little hiss to get their attention, and I point in directionally where the others might be.
Juro turns his head back and kind of gives you an approving nod, and will look up to the tree and then over to Mora, who's kind of to the north of him. And he'll wait a moment, and as he does, he looks into the clearing, and you're able to see the eldest brother finally emerging, the last of the group. And he's kind of sneaking up behind one of the trees. And all of their eyes are on the wagon. Everybody's alert, right? As they are watching from their positions. Everybody is alert for a pin to drop at any moment. But they all seem to be crouched behind these large rocks or the shack or a tree, trying to hide themselves to see what happens and to see when this band of Thieves Guild delivery will appear.
How far, and I cannot quite do the counter tell, the grid lines are a little faint, but from where I am to the grimacing rider, how far away is that?
Let's see, it's about 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, about 45 feet. And he hops off of the wagon, both of them do, and he kind of makes his way to the back of the wagon. It's one of the, it has kind of a cloth top to it, and he makes his way, and he opens up the gate in the wagon and kind of disappears into it.
I'll look to Juro, kind of question / hand movement of over the, can't see my hands, but I'm kind of referencing over the top of the trench and into action, or hold and wait.
He'll take 2 fingers and just very calmly point them into the trench. And unless there's anything else the party would like to do, we can roll for initiative.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Goro is just so ready to wreck house with these guys.
I rolled a 17.
Nice. I rolled a 19.
I rolled a 9.
Well, I got a 5, so I'm clearly waiting to see what happens so I can take the strategic action afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Aya, can you give me yours again?
9. I was a 9.
And Ryu?
A 19.
Excellent. Give me one more second. Okay, so the party is ready to pounce on this wagon and Nico, the second brother, who is currently dressed up as women. And it must be something about the glint of armor. Just the light hits it, that morning light just hits Goro's armor ever so perfectly. And you can see Ichigo, who's kind of hidden behind one of the trees. You can see his eyes go wide, and he puts his fingers to his lips, and he lets out a loud whistle that kind of cuts through the crisp morning air, and all of his party kind of perks up and begins looking around, and he readies a crossbow that he's holding in his hand, and he fires it off in the direction of Goro.
Since we're in the trench, do we have like half or partial cover?
Yes, and as long as you're in the trench, at this point you have about half cover, and he fires off, just kind of seeing a glint in the distance, and the arrow itself shoots far wide of you, Goro, and that will make it Ryu's turn. Similarly, Ryu, these... and to everybody, they're also kind of in hiding positions. So at this moment, it's really only Nico who's in the wide open.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, I would like to delay my turn until after Goro, because I don't want to just start shooting until I know we're actually going into it, you know? As much as I would like to shoot, I hold back for a second and delay my turn until after Goro's.
Okay, so you're going to hold your action?
I'm going to move my turn until after Goro's.
Okay, great. So let me do this. Yes, that makes it Goro's turn. Aya, do you have something?
Oh, I was just going to ask, do we know what the initiative order is? I like to write it down so it's easier to...
Sure.
remember.
We'll go from the top, and there are quite a few players on the list, right? But you have Ichigo, the oldest brother. You have Ryu, Goro, and then you have the gnome creature. Then Aya, then Moro, and basically from there it is the rest of their party until Juro rounds out the bottom of the order.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that.
But that makes it Goro's turn. You see whiz as a bolt, cross arrow bolt comes whizzing up past your head and goes thunk into a tree not far behind you. What would you like to do from here, Goro?
With my spear in my offhand, I will pull out a javelin from my kind of satchel carrier of, it's kind of strapped to my back under my cape, and I will hop up out of the trench and move forward probably about 10 or so feet. That kind of puts me in javelin throwing range. Towards, you said Nico is the one that's at the front of the cart?
Right.
Yeah, so kind of come out 10 feet or maybe 15 feet towards him, and then launch my javelin at him.
Great.
And so I'm probably going to finish my movement after this, but let's just do this first. So, and I come out with a roar. I just a giant Leonin roar as I just let loose this. Oh, whoops! Sorry, I rolled my damage too soon. Hold on. Just got so excited. For a 12 to hit Nico.
12 does not hit. The javelin just kind of falls to the right and goes thump into the wagon, kind of hitting one of the boards of the wagon.
And then I will continue my movement another 10 feet forward, and then kind of shift to my spear to both hands. So now I'm holding my spear ready for whatever comes.
Got it. Great. That would make it Ryu's turn now.
All right. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of whisper to Koji, like, Koji, go help out Goro. And so, how high up in the tree am I?
The tree itself is about 20 feet up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so I'm gonna, with my bonus action, tell Koji, or well, I guess that's not a bonus action. You can just go. Koji to go kind of run and have him kind of go and get right behind Goro. He has 40 feet of movement, so if that's enough to get over to there.
Yes.
That's great. So I want him to stand there. And then I am actually going to, once again, delay my action this turn So until I see the eldest brother, because he's the one that I want to hit the most.
Oh.
So basically, the moment that he becomes visible to me, I'm going to make my attack action against the eldest brother.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Gladly. Another hot roll for a 5.
Okay. You notice that the brothers and their, minions, their henchmen, are like hiding at various places. And as you kind of scan, you don't see the brother, but they do have. It's not that they're 100% hidden. They have about 3/4 cover at this point because they're kind of peering out.
Yep.
But you just don't notice where he is with a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull up the right window.
And just say, with my sharpshooter feat, I can ignore 1/2 and 3/4 cover.
Yeah.
Hey.
But I still want to hold my action until I can verify what is going on.
Okay, then Okay, so Koji comes swooping down, and Goro, you notice as Ryu's winged drake friend kind of lets out a chirpy like roar as he comes swooping down confidently beside you and begins flapping his wings. But as you turn your attention back to Nico, you see the wagon begin to shake side to side, and the creak and weight of something moving within this rather large wagon, and bursting out of the back.
Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. What is this gonna be? Ugh. What did we get ourselves into?
Fun.
Guys.
Bursting out of the back, you see this strange sight as this giant scorpion with the gnome-like creature wielding this giant scythe comes charging, blasting the back door of the wagon aside, and this scorpion comes charging towards Goro and Koji.
Oh shit. Oh no.
Ah!
Oh no. Oh no.
I have an opportunity attack if anything comes near me, and that is what I'm going to do if that happens.
Yes, it will be able to come into range, so go ahead and take that opportunity attack on the giant scorpion.
And I give a smile, a big, wide, toothy, large cat smile of this is exactly what I wanted. The javelin was just to get their attention and draw them in. And as they come to it, I attack with my boar spear for not great 11.
Does not hit.
Does not hit. And then I will proceed to take whatever happens next.
Okay. So the scorpion comes in with 2 claw attacks first, and its tail is beginning to kind of wind backwards as it begins to strike at you. The first is an 11 to hit, which I don't believe will hit.
No.
And the second is a 7 to hit. So you get these kind of claws in your face. Cha, cha! You're poking at it with your spear, driving your spear towards it. And in retaliation, it's kind of giving you a pair of warning snips of its claw before it comes in with its tail to strike at you. And that is a natural 20.
Oh.
Oof.
Oh
Ouch.
no.
For 8 points of piercing damage, and I need you to go ahead and make me a Constitution saving throw.
Yes. Give me a second. Is it Constitution saving throw?
Yes.
Oh, natural 1.
No.
We do
Hot
not need to crit
rolls,
fail
hot rolls.
this soon. Oh,
We're just getting the
no.
bad rolls out early.
Yeah. That's what we're doing.
Exactly.
Oh,
So that's going to be
We're gonna be rolling only crits at the
16
end.
points of poison
God.
damage.
boy.
Juro's questioning the entire bargain at this point. Who did I sign up to help?
To
Oh, no.
find true strength. Did you hear? At 16 points of total poison damage. I might have had my finger on the wrong button. Apologies. But it comes in, snip with its claws, and then driving the stinger kind of right into the side of Goro's neck. And you feel the oozing poison cut in as you take 16 points of poison damage.
Wait, how much damage did he take all at once? It was 16 piercing and 16 poison?
No, it was, I think, 8 points of piercing damage and 16 points of poison damage.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Ouch.
Oof.
Right, that is a lot of poison damage. And that, I mean, that you can see that knocked me off my feet a little bit, or actually a lot.
You're not poisoned, though, just so we're
Okay,
clear.
just- okay.
Just poison damage. And
Got it, okay.
that is its turn. Kind of as the scorpion comes to a halt, you've seen as this little feral creature is looking and surveying the area around, trying to understand where this attack came from, where Goro came from, and try to see who else might be with it. And similar to Ryu, you get the sense that he might be holding his action for something, which will then make it Aya's turn.
Oh, great. Okay. So let's see if this battle strategy works out. I don't know if it will, but so first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pop bless on 3 members of my party. I'm gonna bless Goro, I'm gonna bless Ryu, and I'm gonna bless Mora. So the 3 of you are blessed.
And what does that give us?
When you make an attack roll or a saving throw before the spell ends, so for the next minute, you can roll a d4 and add that number rolled to your attack roll or your saving throw.
Bad.
Love it.
I'm going to use my movement to hop up out of the trench and run up to... see, you said the scorpion has the gnome is riding on its back?
Yes, correct.
Like, essentially driving it or whatever.
Right.
Okay. With my movement, would I be able to... My 10, 15, 20, 25... Would I be able to reach him? Like, it looks pretty close on the map. 5, 10, 15, 20...
Yes, you can
20.
reach him.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna run up and hit him with... I'm gonna pull out my melee weapon, my mace, and try to clock him with it.
Got it.
And let me get...
Wait, is bless a bonus action?
Yes, it is. I popped that at the very top. It was an 8 to attack. I'm guessing that doesn't hit.
No, so you kind of take your swing at this gnome creature, and the gnome creature is kind of up on top of this giant scorpion. So he's kind of actually pretty far. So you take a swing, and it's easy enough for him to kind of lean back. But he's going to his action has been ready, just like Ryu's. So he's going to leap into action as soon as your turn is over.
Is he going to try to attack me? Or is anything trying to attack me?
He's going to try to attack you.
Great! Warding flare! As I try to dodge that, I'm going to throw up warding flare.
Okay, so you see as this creature, he's gnome-sized, and now that you're closer to him, you can see he has this kind of deep stained red cap. And on his feet, he's a small creature, and on his feet are these this pair of boots, these large iron boots. Like on a normal sized person, they'd be a size 12 shoe. And they're completely made of iron. And he steps clunk, clunk onto the back of his scorpion, and with all of his might, kind of leaps up into the air, raising his sickle down to kind of come slashing across your front, and you put up a hand and spectacular light flashes forward, kind of catching him in this ray of light as he goes to silhouette. Warding flare is just the first attack, correct? Or is it the disadvantage on his entire turn?
It's a disadvantage on his turn.
Okay, great. So
can't any creature that can't be blinded, you can see, use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll. So yeah, his attack has disadvantage.
Okay, so as he comes crashing down, this attack is going to have disadvantage as he brings this giant-sized scythe down to you. That's for a 14 to hit.
Miss.
Okay, and now that he's planted his feet on the ground, you see he kind of is in front of you, and he only comes up to about your mid-thigh. But he begins whipping this scythe around for 2 more attacks. Okay. That one is with disadvantage as well, but the lower of the 2 rolls was a 19 to hit.
Oh, yeah, the 19 hits. Oh, wait, hold on. Do I make any, like, saving throw or a dex save or anything like that?
Nope, this is just him hitting you with his scythe. So that is going to be 8 points of slashing damage for the first attack, and he's going to come in for his last attack as well.
Okay.
Let's just see real quick. For an 8 to hit. So you're in the clear. But as this creature, this gnome-like creature, though as you're up close now, you can tell he's not a gnome. He's nothing like you've ever seen before. And he's gnarling like a rabid beast. And he's just madly swinging this scythe around. This oversized scythe for his body, as if he can barely control it. But he gets one good swipe on you. And you can tell that when he's in your presence, he can really do some damage. And that will bring us to Mora's turn.
Right. Looks like a bit of a challenge then. And with that, Mora will gesture and some purple sparkles will emerge from her hands and flash around the gnome creature's head and try to wreath it in a crown of madness.
Ooh!
And
now remember, you have Bless, so that helps you out with your attack roll. You get to add 1d4 to it.
well, it's not an attack roll. It's just a pure save on its part. So it needs to do a Wisdom 14 save or better to not get hit.
It fails.
Yes.
Excellent. Woo! The crown wreaths and locks as this enchanted piece of magical glowing with this dark iron, and wildness comes into its eyes. And the effect of that is that it needs to, as long as it's under control, it will make melee attacks against whatever I direct.
Oh, wow.
So on its turn, it must make a melee attack against the scorpion if it can. But
Fantastic.
it does get to try to save every turn.
Excellent.
That is amazing.
So that is going to make it Nico's turn. And Nico kind of, what the hell was this? And he grabs his great club, and he comes running forward towards Goro, in that Goro is who he can see. And you hear from the back, you say, "No, you fool! Get back! Get back!" And so, kind of as he's taking several steps forward, he hears this. He goes, "Oh, right!" And kind of makes his way behind the wagon for a little bit of cover. And you can tell that he's not exactly the brightest one. Nico, you also notice Goro is the one with an oversized bandage on his nose. And you can kind of see where there's little blood stains coming out of his nostrils from where you broke it.
I want to finish the job.
He wants to finish the nose job.
So, let's do this. Mora and Ryu, can you please both give me a stealth check?
Yes.
It up, stealth it up.
Hey, I got a good roll. That's
Nice.
22.
Oh
Whoa,
no!
nice.
That's stealth, not perception, right?
Right.
Mora got a 17.
Okay, so in this case, I'm going to give you both 3/4 cover, because you haven't really entered the fray in the same way that Aya and Goro have, and where one of you was in the trench, the other was in the tree. But you do notice as the 3 bandits, not the brothers, but they're kind of henchmen, notice Mora as you got the lower of the 2 rolls. And they pull back their bows and they let loose to try to hit you. And I'm going to use this as kind of a group roll. Okay, so basically it works out that one of the arrows hits. Your AC is...
It's 10, but I can throw a shield as a reaction.
Okay, so the highest one that was going to hit was going to be a 17.
Okay, that'll hit. I'll still probably punch the shield, though. I wouldn't have known, so that's fine.
Okay, so most of the arrows are like in your general direction, but you see one kind of coming down, and you're just not quite fast enough to get that shield up, and you get it up just as the arrow passes and kind of clips you on the arm. For a total of 5 points of piercing damage. The next turn is for Kocha, the youngest brother. And Ryu, kind of from your perch, you're able to see that Kocha is kind of hiding surreptitiously behind the shack. And you're watching as he sees Juro kind of getting ready to enter the fray. So he pulls back his bow and fires one off on Juro, who looks like he's angling to head towards the scorpion. And he fires off a shot, and you see this arrow kind of going whizzing forward through the air, kind of towards Juro. And Juro just takes one step back just as it's about to hit, and the arrow goes thump, like right at the toe of Juro. And he just kind of steps coolly over it and begins to make his way towards the scorpion.
Oh my god, this guy is so cool.
This is when Juro begins to descend down the hill, and he's walking. And as he walks, that cape kind of billows behind him. And from his sheath, he slowly pulls out his short sword and makes his way up to the scorpion. And he kind of gives it a flip of his wrist as he comes down to strike at the scorpion. And he hits no problem. So he just kind of slices down with his first attack, doing, well, just 4 points of damage on that one. So he's warming up here. Let me go ahead and put that in. And then he comes in for the second attack as well.
Well, ain't he high level?
And that one misses. So he comes in for the second attack, and he's surprised a little bit. You can tell he clinks off of the kind of thick armor exoskeleton of this scorpion, and his hand kind of misses as he comes in for the second strike. But that's going to be it for his turn. And that brings us back up to the top of the round. This is when the oldest brother kind of steps out and takes aim at Aya, as Aya is in kind of a direct line of sight.
Oh, I didn't even see him on the map there. Oh, I was looking at the other two brothers. Dang.
But he fires, and he fires wide with his shot, missing Aya. And he takes the rest of his action to kind of move back behind the tree. And he shouts, "Everyone, stay in position! Stay in position! Let the red cap and the scorpion handle it!"
In response to him coming out of cover, can I make my attack that
Yes, you can.
Really? Sweet. Yeah. And I mean, should I attack normally? Probably, but I got to use marksman.
Yo.
So, ooh, baby, that'll be a 19.
Oh, 19 will hit.
Yep. All right, and so base, that's 17 damage, and then I'm also going to use the 1d6 from Koji.
Is Koji out of range? Because Koji is...
Oh, right, it's 30 feet. My apologies.
No worries.
So subtract that. Cool. And so I just shoot that and just yell, "Try and come out and fight us, you cowards!" from a tree.
Yeah, and you hear, "Oh, son of a bitch!" from the far side of the thing. As he thought he was ducking back, and just as he ducks back, he gets an arrow in the side. Oh! Okay, let's go back. Okay, and that was your held action, but that's actually your turn now as well. You had held your action, and we're back at the top of the order, so it's your turn.
Mm-hmm. Or actually, technically, I delayed my turn until after Goro, so it's to Goro now.
Okay, we'll just
Not
drop
that I
it
guess
down
it really
in the
matters.
initiative war. Sure.
I will, gird myself, and through gritted teeth as I'm reeling from that scorpion attack, shout "Second Wind!" and do a quick 1 d10 plus 4 hit point gain. Not the best, but that's so 6 points of hit points back. So that was a bonus action. And then I will attack two-handed spear right into the scorpion's face with the 1d4 bless. So it's a 24 even without the 1d4, I think that hits.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay. So I drive that in deep for 7 points of piercing damage, and then using my polearm master. Oh, I probably actually can't do that bonus attack because I did Second Wind.
Right.
Yep. Okay. Then just 7 points straight to the face.
And I'll use Koji's reaction to add a d6 to that. So.
Okay.
And I will roll the d6 of fire damage for two additional fire points, in which I will say, "Thank you, little Koji."
As you thank Koji, one of the claws comes up to snap at Koji with a 10-foot reach. So the scorpion kind of reaches its first claw up, seeing you infuse this extra attack into it, and it goes to snap at Koji. That is an 11 to hit.
Does not.
Okay, it's going to go in for its second attack.
Muted. Koji has a higher AC than I do.
But it's a 17 to hit.
17 does hit. Dang.
That's 4 points of bludgeoning damage with that second claw as it's kind of gnawing towards gnawing at Koji. Go ahead and give me a go ahead. Oh, and on a hit, The target is grappled, so it kind of has it in its one claw as it's holding on there. Okay, so that makes it the red cap's turn, and it begins to start slashing at Aya again with its wicked
Go after the
sickle.
scorpion.
Right. It has to go for the scorpion. So it thinks, this creature thinks it's going for Aya, but suddenly in its madness and rage, it turns its attention to the scorpion and begins laying down a series of attacks against the scorpion. Two of the three which hit, so let me go ahead and roll some damage on that. For a total of 21 points of slashing damage. It turns and just begins like harvesting this scorpion mount of it and just cutting deep into the exoskeleton with each hit.
Yeah.
Mora gives a big grin. Yes.
Nice.
Now he does get to make a saving throw again at the end of his turn.
That's a 19.
What is it he has to beat?
That's a 19 on the saving throw.
Okay, so he will beat it.
His eyes kind of come out of the fog as the crown dissipates, and he lets out this anguish, no! Seeing what it's done. And its face is suddenly engrossed in rage, and it slowly turns its head back to Aya, assuming, as best it can, that she'd done something to mess with its mind. But that makes it Aya's turn.
Do I get my turn?
Right, you did this obnoxious change the order thing on me.
I don't want to make it too easy for you.
Go for it.
So, do I still see the oldest brother, or is he in full cover now?
He's in 3/4 cover.
Which doesn't affect me. So, I have full faith in my companions to be able to defeat this. And I think if I take out the eldest brother, it will kind of mess up their coordination. So I'm going to make another attack against Ichigo.
Go for it.
Ooh, which is only a 7.
Unfortunately, that's not enough to hit.
Nope. And then with my bonus action, I'm going to have Koji... Actually, I'm going to have Koji try to break free of that grapple.
Okay, needs to give me a strength check.
Yes. Koji is also stronger than I am. Alright, one sec. No, God. My apologies, 1 second. Alright. So that is a 15.
A 15 breaks it, so you see Koji begin to kind of worm himself out of the grasp and go pop, and is able to kind of fly about 5 or 10 feet away from the claw. Excellent. Okay, that will then bring us to Aya's turn.
Cool. I'm going to... Oh, sorry. I'm going to cast... where did I leave it? I'm going to cast a 2nd level Burning Hands at this scorpion and this dude, because it's any creatures within a 15-foot cone, and she's right on top of him. So she's going to clap her hands together and, like, rub them together, like, okay. And then when she pushes her hands out, she's going to cast. It's like right on top of them. They have to both of them need to make a dex saving throw of 14.
The scorpion makes it, but you get the red cap full on.
Yeah. Okay. So if that's the case, the creature takes not bad. So 13 damage to the red cap. Okay, then I'm going to try to get some distance between me and these two that I just lit on fire. So I'm going to back up.
Fair enough.
I'm going to back up to try to be like about 5 squares behind the rear end of the cart. That's just kind of standing in the middle there. That should be about 30 feet of movement away from them, diagonally to the right.
Go ahead. You will get a opportunity attack coming in from the red cap. You can use your reaction. So if you want to use another warding flare as you run away on this attack, you certainly can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So would you like to use your reaction to use a warding flare there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't want this guy to touch me. Get away from me! She's like, no. I'm like backing up, and she sees him go. She's like, nope, and she just puts her hand up.
All right, so you put your hand up, and again he's blinded in light, and kind of has to shake his eyes as he swoops that sickle attack as you make your way away, and you're able to kind of move behind the cart. As you move behind the cart, you are clearly able to see Nico kind of also hiding. Like, you have this moment where you come around the backside of the cart and you hunker down for your next turn. You look to your right, and there in kind of a woman's bonnet and dress is Nico looking at you as you kind of come around the corner there.
I'm gonna look over at him, and she's just like, I would have gone with a sun hat myself. She's just looking at the bonnet.
Mora,
please tell me you take psychic damage for that.
If you were a bard,
vicious mockery.
Whispers. Yeah, vicious mockery.
If I had vicious mockery,
that'd be perfect right now.
I had it.
That makes it Mora's turn. Mora, you're able to see that the giant scorpion now appears to be bloodied, though everybody else on the field seems to be doing all right. On the other side, anyways.
Well, I'm staying focused on the red cap, and I'm going to attempt to mind sliver it. So, just a quick utterance, and we'll need to make an intelligence saving throw.
It fails this saving throw as well.
All right, so we'll take a point of psychic damage, and then we'll have 1d4 off of its next saving throw.
Excellent. This
Mora will hunker down in the trench as much as possible for the sake of cover.
The Nico will see Aya turning around the corner, and after the comment, he looks at her and says, I think this bonnet's rather becoming! And he grabs his great club and he runs towards you. He says, come here, girlie! And he's actually going to grab you and try to grapple you. So we need to go ahead and make a contested strength check.
Oh my. Oh no. What would I... Just contested, it wouldn't be a saving throw.
Yeah, you're just gonna go. Yeah, you're gonna give me a strength saving throw.
Oh, a strength save. Okay, sorry, I hit the wrong thing. So that's a natural 1.
Okay, so you kind of put your hands up, you brute, as he comes charging forward, and he kind of grabs you tight with all of his might, and as much as you struggle, he has these large, thick arms, and he's really kind of with one arm able to grapple you tight. And that's going to be his turn. The waiting bandits were kind of ready to fire on you because they saw you kind of coming around the wagon as well, and were about to fire you until Nico took the initiative and grappled you. So instead, they turn their attention to Ryu, because a moment before they had just seen him fire off a shot to the boss man. So they refocus their aim, losing Mora, who is hunkered back down, and they fire off 3 shots at Ryu up in the tree.
Oh,
Do I still have my partial cover because I am in the tree?
Yes, I'm going to say it's half cover because you've kind of revealed where you are at this point, and it's not the thickest of trees.
Okay. I'll take anything.
And all 3 miss hard. So they fire, just kind of firing up at a tree, and from a distance, all 3 of their angles are wrong, and the arrows kind of plot down into the forest somewhere behind you. However, kind of taking the lead, taking their lead, the youngest brother, you see him pull back his longbow, and he focuses attention a little bit more as he goes in for some shots on you. And the first is a 25 to hit.
That might just hit.
For 7 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And he's going to go in for another shot.
Mm-hmm.
For a natural 20.
Oh,
Oi.
that's nice.
For 14 points of piercing damage. And as it hits, this one feels like it goes a little bit deeper for another 10 points of piercing damage. You suddenly get the realization that you're up against an archer who might be just as skilled as you are.
Yep. Even more so, because he can do 2 attacks. That brought me from full health down to 1 hit point. Uh-oh.
You're down to 1 hit point?
I just got dealt 31 damage in 1 turn.
Oh my god.
It's Juro's turn, and he's looking from side to side. He sees that Aya is grappled. He sees as 2 arrows. He looks up and follows the arrows and sees the 2 kind of slamming into Ryu, and he sees as Goro is injured as well. Kind of popping out is Koji. He is standing. I didn't move him, my apologies. He's already standing next to Goro, and he looks at him and says, "We need to change the situation to our advantage." And you watch as he lifts up a leg. He kind of stands in front of you, lifts up a leg high, and crashes it onto the ground. And as he's crashing it onto the ground, you see as kind of light spirals around it, kind of similar to when Mora casts a spell. This kind of magic wraps around his leg, and he slams it into the ground. And as it does, you can see as the ground turns to boulders, and this seismic wave of energy begins rippling out 10 feet from his foot, forcing both the red cap and the scorpion to make a saving throw. All of a sudden, you see as the red cap falls back prone on its rear, and forced back is the scorpion about 5 feet from you, and both of them lose their footing, and you can see as they're taking damage trying to hold on to their footing. And Juro kind of turns to you and just commands, "Get everyone back! We must regroup!" And this will bring us to the top of the round. You hear Ichigo kind of turn to the group and says, "Ha ha! We've got him now, boys! Move in!" And you begin to see as the group begins getting ready to at least move up to the wagon, making it Goro's turn.
How does the scorpion and redcap look?
The scorpion looks well bloodied. The red cap is prone, but still looks fairly healthy.
Okay. And they've both been moved back a little bit?
The scorpion was pushed back about 5 feet. The red cap is just prone.
I will shift gears and I can get to the red cap without an opportunity attack from the scorpion. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I will shift gears and pounce on the red cap and drive my my spear down on top of him with a two-handed spear attack. Do I still have bless? Am I still blessed?
Yes.
Okay. That is with plus. That's hold on. So that is a
13.
13, but I'm going to do a superiority maneuver.
Woo!
With a precision attack to add a D8 to this roll for an additional 8. So what was that? That was 13. Now we're
21.
Yeah, 21. 21 to hit.
That'll hit.
Or 20 to hit. Okay.
Woo!
Driving the spear down into the red cap for 11 points of spear piercing damage.
And then add a d6 from Koji.
Yes, little Koji friend. Additional 4 points of fire damage. So 15 total. And then I look to Juro. We don't retreat.
Of course not.
And this is where Goro led the team into a TPK.
In this moment. Yeah. What's his name? Ron Howard in the background.
Yeah.
Narrating. Okay, wonderful. So that makes it Ryu's turn with your 1 hit point.
And I just kind of... See, I hear Juro. And I say, Koji! Back up! And so I'm going to have Koji move 40 feet back. I am going to, basically just jump down from the tree and use my movement to try. I think that'll take a good amount of my movement to get down from the tree. And then whatever I've left, I'll use to move back. I will still make a shot, though. Kind of once I move away, I'll kind of turn around and... I forget, was the red cap prone or was it just the scorpion?
No, the red cap is the one that's prone.
Okay, I am going to make an attack against him.
You do not have advantage on this attack,
No?
however. No, it's prone
Melee.
is only melee within 5 feet.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I'll still make the attack against him. And get a 22 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Yeah. And then, one sec. I am going to re-roll my damage because with my piercing feat. And roll worse. And get 15 points damage.
It's enough. The arrow, Goro, you said, we will not retreat. And as if to punctuate the point, this red cap is stabbed by your spear. And just as it appears that it's going to kind of reach up and bite your leg, an arrow comes and cuts straight through the red cap's throat. And its eyes bulge clean out of its head before it slumps down, breathless and dead. And as has always been the case with killed creatures, a moment later, it evaporates into glassy magic and sucks up into Goro's Adventurers Guild ring.
If possible, before the end of my turn, I do want to try and have Koji and I be fully behind a tree or something if I have any space for that left, because I'm scared of arrows now.
Yeah, I mean,
but I don't know if I'll have movement.
Yeah, I think between using your whole movement and that hide is like an actual action. I'll say I'll give you a bit of cover in that you are in the trees near Mora,
Yeah.
but it's not enough to get full cover.
Okay. Yep.
Cool. Ram. That makes it the Scorpion's turn. And it is still within reach of Goro and both Goro and Juro. So it takes the first kind of clomp at Goro with its claw. For a 17 to hit.
Does not hit.
Okay. With the second claw, it goes for Juro. And misses as well. And then it goes in with its stinger for Juro. And the stinger kind of comes in and slashes into Juro's chest. And Juro kind of puts a strong hand on the stinger, which is kind of deeply embedded into its chest. You can see as the scorpion is kind of trying to wither and wriggle away. But Juro takes a total of 28 points of damage.
I'm glad he went for Juro.
With that, we are at Aya's turn. Aya, you are grappled by Nico, and he's kind of, with his motion, kind of making it seem like he intends to kind of move back with you as the others move forward.
Oh, okay, cool.
Now, you can make an attack against him with your mace at disadvantage. You can do a strength check to try to break this hold, or you can try to cast a spell.
Let's channel some divinity on this guy.
Awesome.
So I'm gonna do channel divinity, Radiance of the Dawn. Hey, that's good. Plus 4, so it'd be 20 if they don't make the dex. 20 if they don't make the con save. 10 if they do. For
And
each person,
what
each
is-
hostile within 30 feet of me.
What's their DC saving throw? Or sorry, what do they have to beat?
They have to beat a DC 14 con. So that would be Scorpion, the brother who's holding me, the other brother who's nearest to me in that rock. Those 3. So it's only within 30 feet.
Okay, so the rest of the party can kind of see Aya struggling, and she's able to reach up a free arm, and she arcs her hand towards the sky, and you've seen her do this before, and kind of parting momentarily in the clouds of the sky, this radiant light kind of comes crashing down and illuminates the battlefield. And as it does, you see as it evaporates the scorpion as well as the bandanaed henchman behind the rocks. Holding on, though blinded by the light, is Nico, who takes half damage.
Okay, so he's still maintaining a hold on me.
Yes.
Correct? Okay. And I want to see. Okay. Bonus action. Anything I can do. Awesome. Cool. I'm going to use a spiritual weapon. About my giant rose, my spectral rose mace. And I'm going to strike this guy that's holding me. I'm going to use it to try to essentially whack him upside the head. Like a giant baseball bat to the face. I'm going to duck my head down and do a... Like, her head is up, and then she ducks it down, and then a giant mace just comes forward to try to swing at his head.
Got it.
I had a hit of a 13, but I'd like to use my lucky feat to re-roll that.
Go for it. You'll need it.
Yes. You're kidding me!
Oh.
I rolled worse! With a luck! Do I want to burn another one?
I think you can only burn one a turn here. So,
Dang
unfortunately, it manifests itself, and even you are a little bit taken back by the amount of light that you pull down. But your spiritual weapon remains. It takes a swing, but it remains
Remains up
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and that brings us to Mora's turn.
Well, that changed a few things. Good job. So the nature of the wagon, it's covered or is it completely enclosed? What's the wagon look like exactly?
Yeah, it's one of those kind of cloth covered wagons, a little bit like Oregon Trail style wagons.
Okay. Goodness, just looking around. Well, I think what Mora will do at this point, can I make it to the side of the wagon with my movement? I guess is the question. Can't quite
No,
see
you
how
can
far
make
the
it
battle's
about
gone.
halfway there. You'd be about... That's about as far as you could get.
Okay. Well, rather than being completely exposed, I will move as far as I can, reasonably, and then I will Misty Step the remainder of the distance.
Hey.
So that I'm crouched behind the side of the wagon,
Okay.
towards the back, towards Aya.
You're able to see, you kind of, as the light dies down, you see Mora's image kind of breaking the edge of the forest, and then this misty smoke envelops her, and she pops up, crouched down just around the corner from where you are.
Yeah, trying to have cover, obviously, but yes, that's exactly
I love it.
Just as she manifests herself, the Nico is kind of pulling Aya backwards and pulls the two of them.
Unarmed strike. I want to bite his arm as he's doing it.
So he's got
Chomp
this
down
big
on
chomping, and you're trying, but he's pulling you back. And as you try to strike him, he's gonna take his great club, and he's with his free hand, and he's just gonna whack you twice with it. Okay, so he on the first.
Can I still do warning flares against him?
Yes, you can.
Oh, nice.
You can do it on his first attack because it's going to eat up your reaction. So would you like to use his warding flare?
Sure, why not?
Okay, so you cast out a warding flare, and it negates the advantage that he just rolled. And he gets blinded for a moment, and wrong girl, and goes to hit you again with another attack. Because you've used your reaction, you're not going to be able to warding flare again. That is a 22 to hit.
Yes.
For 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
How dare you?
How dare you? And that makes it the two remaining bandits' turns. And they, each of them sees Juro and Goro, so they will take a shot at them respectively. So the first one fires at Juro and does not hit. And an 18 does not hit Goro, correct?
My armor class is 18, but which one of these is firing at us? Because if they have to shoot over or through the wagon, does that make a difference?
Yes. I'm gonna give it to you because it was close. And yes, we'll say it's this one to the north, and that's a pretty healthy trick shot from there. Thank you for calling me out on that one. Yes, so it misses. I'm gonna give you a half cover on that because he has to shoot between that gap and like over a weird angle there, as well. So that makes it the archer's turn. And he has a clear shot on Juro, so he's going to fire a couple of shots. The first misses. And the second misses as well, making it Juro's turn. And Juro suddenly, was calling for, just seconds ago, was calling for a retreat. And clearly underestimated the party, because within a succession of moments, Goro telling him, we do not retreat, suddenly 3 of the adversaries are off the board. So Juro doesn't break his expression at all, but clearly has recalculated. And he goes and he runs up beside Mora and takes a moment to kind of peek around. And he looks at her and he says, just a moment. And he sticks out his hand, and 3 magic missiles come firing out of the palm of his hand, striking Nico in the side of the face and the chest.
Beautiful.
Nice.
For 11 points of magical damage. Which brings us to the top of the round, and Ichigo, the eldest brother, is starting to quickly recalculate, and he holds up a fist to hold position, seeing that the red cap and the scorpion have been put down. And he pulls his bow and begins to fire at Goro, who's still standing in the open.
No.
But that is only a 17 to hit.
Deflection off the armor.
Oh,
Yes.
thank God.
And that brings us to Goro's turn.
Seeing that, I will, it's almost like, I see as he shoots the arrow and I start moving towards him, and the arrow kind of, before it reaches like terminal velocity, deflects off the armor. And as I'm running, I pull a javelin from behind my cloak, and I charge forward 30 feet and launch it at Ichigo. So I'm going to charge kind of towards him and then throw that javelin. And I guess it's still blessed. I'm going to add, yes, 24 to hit plus 1d4, 26 to hit. Yes?
Yes, that'll hit.
And I drive that forward. That lands for 5 points of javelin piercing damage.
Excellent. Anything else? That's your turn?
No, that's it. I will hold myself there.
Got it. Okay, that makes it Ryu's turn. You are up in the woods here.
All right. Kind of as I'm limping away, I turn around. I was like, man, why don't they ever run? And I turn around, and who can I see on their side? Like, because I know I'm a little bit in there, but do I still have any view of any of the baddies?
Really, no.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's kind of what I expected. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna. Okay, Koji, let's go help him, I guess. I turn around and kind of run 30 feet back.
Okay.
And I'm going to try and kind of like prone behind that. Can I reach that stone wall?
Yes, you could reach the ledge headed down, no problem.
Okay, so I want to kind of go there, and then I'm going to use my action to cast an orb of fog to try and cut off the angle of sight, so I can still see my party and kind of the lower half, but then try and cast an orb of fog 20 feet sphere
Okay.
in a way to block off the upper half, so their sight of me, so they can't see exactly where I am behind this
Okay.
edge.
Can you give me kind of a landmark where you want to cast this? Like, where you've got the shed, you've got the trough, you've got a bunch of
Yeah.
rocks, the wagon. Which of these
I'm
landmarks would
thinking-
you like to cast it around?
I'm thinking kind of like there's the kind of curved upper part of the wall. There's that little divot there, and then the handle of the wagon, kind of right in between there, to kind of make
Okay.
the angle as big as possible, or like just south of there to try and kind of cut off as many of those 3 other tokens in the upper quadrant as possible.
That's the right size, correct? It's 20 feet across? Or 20 feet
yes.
from the center point in each
Let me
direction.
just 20-foot radius, so it's actually 40 feet across.
Okay.
Whoa!
That's
Heck
way
yes.
bigger than I expected.
Yeah.
So yeah, 40 feet across. In that case, I think I can block pretty much from the wagon to the wall. And I'm not in it. I'm just behind it, trying to obscure their view so that I do not get shot. Hopefully.
I mean, if you did it right, you could also probably get Juro and Juro and Mora in
One
that
thing
too.
is, I don't want to put it around anybody because I don't want to obscure our vision.
Oh, I see what you're... Okay.
I'm using it to block theirs so that they
Oh.
can't see us, so
Got
that
it.
so the only 2 who can is Ichigo and then I think Nico
The one
are
who's
the
holding
2
me.
that are not behind this. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I get what you mean.
Yep. And then Koji's gonna run up a little bit further. That makes he has 40 movement speed, so he can go a little bit further and kind of run towards Mora, but not be able to make it with their movement. And I'm going to be, if I have to move, I want to be lying down behind this rock after I catch that. Just drop down.
Yeah, you can go prone, sure.
Yeah. Exhaustion, half fear.
Yeah. Now you're on an upward slant, so you're about 5 feet off of where this kind of goes down. But there's, just to make clear that you're not like actually down, you're actually raised up a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, I just want to be hiding behind something.
Right, fair.
Yeah.
That brings us to Aya's turn. You have your spiritual weapon up. You're still grappled. What would you like to do? Now you can cast a spell and still use your spiritual weapon in that it's up, right? So you could use some kind of spell as well.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out which one. Because I really wish that I had a healing spell that affected more than one person in range. But the one I want to use would take 10 minutes to prepare. And the other one that I have is Cure Wounds, but that's touch, and no, none of my folks are near me close enough. So I'm going to... Did I see, or could I have seen Ryu getting absolutely destroyed with those arrows when he got attacked?
It would have been pretty tough with all the light you've been calling down and all the chaos of battle. That'd be tough.
Okay, that's why I was checking, because my initial response as a player is wanting to help him, but because Aya most likely has not seen it, she's going to focus she's going to cast Healing Word to Goro at a 2nd level. And you're well within 60 feet of me, so I can definitely see you. Goro, I'm going to heal you for 2d4 plus 4, so you get 9. You get 9 health back.
Excellent.
So you get that, and then I'm going to use my spiritual weapon to try to clock Nico that's grappling me. Hopefully, maybe he'll drop me. I don't know. Maybe this time I'll try to hit him with hit him in the arm that's holding me to try to break his elbow or something. I don't know. Let me get go find it. Spiritual weapon. Here we are. Okay, that's better. 16 to hit.
That'll hit.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So it's 12 points of damage to
Awesome.
Nico.
Okay, wonderful. Anything healing word and the hit with the spiritual weapon, and that's going to bring up Mora's turn.
Yeah. How is Nico looking now that I've hit him a couple times? Was I able to bust his arm a bit?
Nico's pretty burly. Like, this is hitting him, but it's almost like hitting Goro. It's like hitting a big log.
I mean, my girl's doing what she can to try to beat him up and get away from him. So next turn, if I haven't gotten out of his grapple by then I'll try fighting his grapple off. But she was still able to provide support for her teammates, so that's what matters.
Yeah, how's Ichigo looking then?
The rest of them are looking pretty solid. No real damage has been done to any of the brothers but Nico. I think that's not true. Ichigo did get one javelin poke and an arrow from Ryu, so he actually has taken some damage, but they're looking pretty okay.
You can see me just like Ichigo is in my predatory line of sight. Like you know that I'm coming for him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right. Given the situation, seeing where folks are at, I'm going to pivot over, as I was doing, heading for Aya anyway. I'm going to... Mora will look and focus and attempt to cast Hold Person on Nico.
Yes! Girl, yes!
So that's a Wisdom saving throw.
Let's hope that he's not wise.
That's a 10.
Awesome. He will be paralyzed then.
Ooh.
Amazing.
And
So-
with my movement on top of that, I would like to hop up and duck into the back of the wagon.
Sure.
There you go.
Sure.
Nice.
The inside of the wagon is empty. It was clearly just an area to hold this giant scorpion. So it's pretty bare bones in there, other than some rope that they might have used to tie him up at times. Anything else?
No, I'll just yell out, "Break free, Aya, go!"
Okay. And that brings us to Nico's turn.
Come on, Nico. Drop me. You don't really want to keep on holding on to the opposite party's cleric. Like, it's fine. You can just put me down.
Yeah, no worries. Let's just end this here. No harm, no foul. Okay, so it was Nico's turn, who is paralyzed. So he's just going to get a chance to unparalyze himself with a wisdom saving throw, correct?
Yes.
No. He doesn't get a chance.
Only
gets
if he
to
wants
stay
to.
that way.
He can choose to fail.
I roll to convince him to choose to fail.
He rolled a 16. So
Dang it.
he kind of shakes his head after his muscles seize up, and he's still holding on to Aya. And Aya, you can feel as he kind of harshens up his clench, but that is the end of his turn.
I go, what was this?
You notice, who would notice? Mora, go ahead and give me a perception check with disadvantage, I suppose.
12.
Okay. That's still enough to notice that one of the bandits kind of comes around behind Nico and fires a shot off at Juro, who's kind of hunched by the side there, and you can just kind of see Juro.
Do I have a chance to shout out anything?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's be like, Juro, look out! An archer!
And Juro kind of turns and looks, but just as an arrow grazes his arm, hitting him. But he's able to avoid a little bit of the damage. And he just takes 3 points of damage. So he was going to probably take that arrow at a full hit, but he cocks his arm to the side ever so slightly, and it just kind of grazes by. He's still not looking great. He's a little bloodied, and you can see as he kind of takes a... and moves himself kind of back a little bit, trying to get out of the way. And the one from the top, our other bandit, is trying to make his way out of the fog. And just kind of moves position. And now he's got a good line of sight on the charging Goro. And so he lets fly an arrow at Goro. For an 18 to hit.
That hits.
Silvery barbs.
Okay, so
If I can force the disadvantage roll.
Ooh.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay, so he's gonna roll that with disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's a 15.
Does not hit.
Does not
Nice.
hit, and so he takes that damage now. Correct.
No, then what happens is Goro gets advantage in return. I'll just pass it directly over to him.
Okay, and that's on any attack, even not on his attacker. Correct.
It's his next attack, ability check, or saving throw.
Wonderful.
Yes. And that's on top of bless.
Correct. Okay, very cool. That brings us to the youngest brother. And similarly, he suddenly has this fog cloud in front of him and needs to try to figure out how to get around this. And his idea is to kind of just go straight. And so that's what he does. And he's kind of just able to see a laying down Ryu. So he cocks his bow and he fires a shot. The first is a 13 to hit.
Nope.
All right. Well, he's going to try again. The next one's a 14 to hit.
Nope.
Well, you're laying down, okay? It's a tough shot. You're on a slope. He's running through fog. It's a tough shot, man. Okay, so you're lying down. Probably just saved your life. Okay.
Yep.
Yup. And this makes it Juro's turn. And Juro is going to fire off he kind of takes a breath and pulls out his crossbow. And he aims it at Ichigo and fires off a shot at Ichigo. Very much hitting. For 3 points of piercing damage and 15 points of poison damage.
Woo! Nice.
And
Why do you have to make Juro so cool?
that makes it Goro's turn, who has made something of a recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I feel reinvigorated from the healing word, and I am just staring down Ichigo, and I should have, with enough distance, enough movement to get to him and attack.
Oh yeah.
Yes. All right. Diving in with a two-handed spear attack on Ichigo with advantage. So let me just go ahead and roll that. Plus 1d4 blessing. So that is a
dirty 20 to hit for the first roll of the advantage.
That will
So
hit.
rolling it.
Nice.
It looks like it's basically going to be the same. Hold on, I was just seeing if I could get a nat 20 out of this. So yeah, okay. So 20 or it looks like 22 to hit. It sounds like it hits. I will then dive into it, and also so 9 points of piercing damage, and I shout out superiority maneuver, precision or disarming strike, and I want to add another 1d8 to this, and for 1 point of damage. But he needs to make DC 13 strength saving throw or be disarmed with whatever he's holding.
He
Nice.
fails.
He fails.
Oh.
Well, he was holding a bow?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, piercing his hand or arm, whatever, he causes him to drop the bow. At which point, I don't stop there. I go into my bonus attack with the blunt side of it, which is a unfortunately natural 1, so that misses. But then I continue with that and let out Action Surge for another attack.
Go for it.
And this is an 8 plus so a 10 to hit with my blessing, which I'm guessing does not hit.
Does not hit.
Okay. That is all.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
A 6.
Okay, you are momentarily too focused on taking Ichigo down to be well aware of the surrounding area.
Great.
Ryu, it is your turn. You see, you see the third brother kind of just on the edge of the fog cloud, and he has fired 2 shots at you. Koji's has flown forward near Juro and Mora. Let me move Juro back a little bit.
Yes. All right. So it's half movement to go unprone, correct?
Correct.
Okay. How far away from the edge of the fog am I? It's about like 20 feet.
About 20 feet.
Okay. So that is just outside of my movement. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stand up, move towards the fog, and then use a dash action to jump into the fog.
Whee!
Yeah. In pure sheer terror of another arrow coming and flying at me.
Yep.
I'm also going to have Koji run into the fog as well, but have him kind of beelining it towards the third brother, but passing into the fog.
Okay, sounds good. That will make it Aya's turn. Aya, you are still grappled.
Yeah.
And, well, no. I'm going to say, technically with hold person, I think it would have dropped the grapple. I mean, he's big and he's strong, but I would say he was stiff enough that you could slip out because he becomes
Slip out from his
incapacitated.
arms.
So the grapple kind of has to break. Like, he was stiff-armed like this, but there was no longer any tension kind of holding him to you. So you were able to take that one beat and step out of his grapple.
Cool. I'm gonna step maybe like 10 feet in between, so I'm directly in between Ichigo and Nico.
That will give him an opportunity attack.
Ah, okay, never mind. Then I will... Hey, you know what? Burning Hands!
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cast Burning Hands at a second level. Will be my last second level spell slot. But I'm gonna do, yeah, or no, sorry, just first level. I'm gonna do first level, Burning Hands at those 2 dudes. They have to make a dex saving throw of 14.
Again, kind of similar to what had happened before. The proximity of Nico and seeing what you intend to do, and he's a fighter kind of a greater caliber than the other bandits. He kind of steps that extra foot to the side, missing most of the attack, and instead you get the other one kind of full on, the blonde-haired, kind of scarred eye fellow behind him. You hit him full on with the attack.
Okay. So Nico takes 8 damage, the guy behind him takes 16.
And as the fire erupts, you just hear this whoosh, and when the hands come down, where he had been standing a moment before, that bandit is gone. There's just a pile of ash, and a trail of magic kind of sinks into your ring.
Perfect! I'm gonna take that spiritual weapon and clobber Nico with it again. For 18 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Cool. He takes... not a whole lot. He takes 6 damage.
Okay, but with that, he's bloodied.
Wah.
So that would wrap up your turn, making it Mora's turn.
Right. Well, I will still be watching out there. I will see that Aya's dropped one of them, and she's also stepped away from Nico, providing just enough of an angle. When I lean out around the edge of the wagon, I can gesture and flash the lightning forward and do a witch bolt against Nico.
Okay. Dex saving throw?
This is an actual honest-to-goodness attack on my part.
Got it.
Ooh.
Yes, that'll hit.
Woo!
7 points of damage. And there's a streamer of electricity and ozone between him and I.
As this hits, you notice that, like, the lightning bolt scars his face, and you just see his, like, flesh is torn from kind of his hairline down to his chin, kind of running the center line, as that witch bolt just kind of sears off the side of his face. And he lets out this agonizing cry, this cry like he's in just unimaginable pain as this witch bolt hits him. And it makes it his turn, unless there's anything else you'd like to do more.
Nope.
Okay. He is screaming out in pain as he reaches up his great club and goes to bash Io with it. The first is a 13 to hit.
Miss.
The next is an 18 to hit.
Yeah, that one hits.
For 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yikes. Okay. I'm looking rough, guys. I'm in the single digits now.
He
Join the club.
single digit club.
Oh yeah.
Single digit club.
You hear you see in his face, right? He has his hand on his face as he's swinging his club, and he begins in a lumbering movement to move away towards the river, giving you an opportunity attack.
Yes. Yes. I would like to guiding bolt him.
You're just going to be able to make an attack with your mace here.
Oh, with my mace? Okay. Just my handheld mace, like my physical one. Got it. Yes.
So go ahead and roll for attack.
16.
16 hits.
Yeah. Bash. Hey! 6 points damage.
I will also break the lightning bolt when he moves out of range.
Oh, it doesn't hold?
If he moves out of my range, it drops.
Okay, yeah, so he's he's moving back across the river. So Mara, you feel the magic stopping, and you look out and you see him kind of trudging through kind of knee-deep water of this creek, and he just kind of pulls out on the other side. Kind of from his vantage point, this bandit comes, the last remaining of the bandits kind of comes charging forward, trying to figure out what's going on. And he's able to see Mora, so he's going to fire off a shot at Mora. Not Mora, Aya. And a 19 to hit.
Is it too late to call warning flare?
No. But you can't because you used a reaction on...
oh, yeah, I did. So, yeah,
yep.
There's no... Yes, 19 hits.
For 2 points of slashing damage.
Oh, boy. Okay.
And the remaining brother makes his way into the cover of the forest, not quite sure what's going on at this point. So he's going to make his way into the forest and use his action to hide. And Juro places his hand on his chest, and more, you're able to see as magical energy kind of infuses into it, and he casts Cure Wounds on himself, and you see as he kind of heals himself up.
You are very talented, Juro.
Tricks of the trade, my dear. And that brings us to the top of the round. Goro, why don't you go ahead and give me another perception check?
Yes. And 21 this time.
Yeah.
Okay. You notice as a sly grin breaks out across the face of Ichigo. And he says, well, this has been fun, but it seems as though the day is not in our favor, friend. And you look just past him, and from where you guys had been, you had seen the group kind of make their way up to the battlefield. And you look just behind them, and you notice deeper in the forest, kind of in the direction where Nico is headed, there is a number of horses tied up to trees kind of just beyond the break. And he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out what appears like a glass orb, and kind of on the top is a leather kind of leather decoration and a cork, and he reaches it up into the air and he throws it down on the ground, and it shatters. And not dissimilar from the fog cloud, as soon as that glass shatters, the world goes dark, and deep in your nostrils and your throat, you feel a coughing smoke as the area in front of you becomes heavily obscured.
Can I react or shout out?
You can go ahead and give a shout. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I can't see! They're possibly retreating! Stop them!
And he is going to, with his movement now, go ahead and hightail it. Goro, you can make an opportunity attack with disadvantage if you'd like.
I will 100% do that. And I am still blessed for it's a 9 to hit. Oh, actually, that's disadvantage. Well, I can't probably get much worse than that. Hold on.
That attitude.
Yeah, it was a 9. It was a 9 to hit.
Yes, that does not, in this case, hit. And so Nico begins making his way out of the cloud smoke and makes his way across the river as well. That makes it Goro's turn, however. Goro, you are in this smoky fog cloud. I'm going to bring you up above it so you kind of know where you are.
Can I mean, battlefield awareness, can I hear maybe the direction he's gone? Either can I hear the splashing of the river that's kind of behind us, or is he, am I kind of caught up in the coughing and I don't know what's going on?
I'll give you perception with advantage. You know the layout of the land. You likely hear the splashing, so I'll give you perception with advantage.
So that's 16 as for one roll, and then 8 for 16 perception.
Sure, you hear the splashing, you know where the river was, you know what direction to run in. It's still going to be about 15 feet of difficult terrain. So I would say that you could kind of get into the middle of the river from where you are right now.
Okay. I will. Yeah, I will charge through the smoke in the sound of the splashing footsteps as far as I can for my full movement, given the difficulty of the terrain. So if I can get into the river through the smoke cloud, and if I still have enough, I will do a. I don't know if that's going to put me close enough for a spear attack. If not, I'll use a javelin.
You'd have to use a javelin in this case.
Okay. Then I will use the javelin. So as I kind of emerge through the smoke, hacking up a lung, I see him and quickly pull out a javelin and throw it for 13, 16 to hit at Ichigo.
16 does not hit Ichigo.
Okay. But do I see him? I see him though, right?
Yes, you see him. He's beelining it, as is Nico, towards the horses.
Okay. That's my action.
Okay. That's your action. That makes it Ryu's turn.
All right. Did I hear Goro yell about them retreating? I mean,
Go ahead and give me a perception check. I mean, you're in fog, he's in smoke. That shouldn't really hurt your hearing, but there's a lot going on, so just go ahead and give me a perception check so we can be sure.
all right, 16.
Yeah, you hear it.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of pop out of the fog, kind of right next to the wagon.
Which side of the wagon, just so I'm clear?
I'm gonna go off the right side of the wagon. So, and I want to look towards the sound and see if I can see any of the people running away.
Unfortunately, you really can't. There is still this smoke cloud, which is heavily obscured, so you really can't see through where Goro and Ichigo are, and Nico has made it across the river. He's between Aya, that large rock, and quite a few trees, so it's really difficult to make out where he is.
Wait,
Okay.
what about that guy that's just
Yes,
to the
sorry,
right
good
of
point.
you?
You can, however, see you come out of the fog, and kind of taking a breath is this more heavy-set bandit who kind of looks at you in surprise as you come bursting out of the fog cloud.
Gotcha. I am gonna have Koji move and run right at that bandit, and I think I might run out on the left side of it and kind of get behind Juro. All right, I was gonna kind of go up Panda. Hey guys, I don't know where anybody's, but the younger brother was behind me, but I don't know. I'm not doing too hot. What's going on?
Juro will kind of look at you and says, well, join the party, friend. But it seems like we have him on the run.
Okay. And seeing as I can't really see anybody, I'll probably just end my turn, because there's not really anything else I can do at this point.
Alrighty. That makes it Aya's turn. Aya, you can't really see Goro and Ichigo, but you are able to see a retreating Nico, who's about 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, about your movement away from you.
Yeah, I'm not going to worry about the movement.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna see Nico retreating, and I go, "Oh, are you leaving so soon?" And I'm gonna cast Guiding Bolt
Awesome.
as he's running with a 23 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
And I'm just casting this at first level, so it's just the 4d6. Not great. It's 11. And the next attack roll made against this target before the end of my next turn has advantage. So around him, there's a little bit of a shimmering blue light that kind of illuminates him a little bit, makes him a little bit of an easier target. So I cast that. Let me mark off my spell slot.
Still
Very
have your
cool.
spiritual weapon?
Yeah.
I do. Let me just...
If it can move your distance, right? So 35 feet?
It's 60 feet.
Oh, yeah, you can move it and try to whack him with that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did Nico go down, or is he still up and
No,
running?
he's still up. He's just running away.
How does he look?
He's bloodied.
What about this guy behind me? What is he?
He
does
hasn't
look like
been
he's-
damaged yet, but they have not. The minions have not been that burly either.
No, I have a vendetta against Nico. I'm gonna so that spiritual weapon, she's gonna like make almost like a baseball bat motion and out towards him, and that's gonna like go soaring after him into the woods.
Excellent. Okay, go ahead.
For a
and roll
natural 20.
Oh, jeez.
There we
I
go.
crit.
Let's go.
So when I roll a natural 20, does that crit the damage?
Yes, it'll just naturally crit for you.
Well, that just crit, yeah. So it says 1d8 plus 4. Well, d8 plus 5 plus 4. So it's 17. He gets 17 damage.
Excellent. So you cast out your spiritual weapon, command it to go forward, and weaving through trees across the river as the spiritual weapon crosses the river, it kind of creates a break in the water as the wind pushes the water to the sides, and it kind of angles from side to side through and past a tree, and it clobbers Nico in the back of the head, and as it does, you can see as it just crushes in kind of the back side of his skull, forcing him to take several steps forward as it kind of careens upwards and back into a readied position potentially for its next attack.
Uh-huh.
Mora, at this point, he's pretty far away from you, Nico, and he's looking pretty beat up. You can see the bandit and you can see Nico being about 60 feet or so away from you.
Right. And I can see that Aya's still pretty hurt, and I can see that other bandit over there, right?
Correct. The only ones that you can't really see right now are Goro and Ichigo.
All right. I'm going to swallow deeply, hop down out of the wagon, and run over next to Aya, basically putting myself between the bandit and her. And as I pull up next to Aya, I'm going to say, "Good work. Time to put him to sleep." And I will gesture a hand in Nico's general direction, and I will just drop asleep on that entire area.
He goes out hard.
Amazing.
There's almost no way you couldn't put him to sleep at this point.
Sweet dreams.
Fantastic. Okay, so that's his turn. We've got the...
I actually want to be positioned to the north of her, so
Got
that
it.
I'm between the bandit and her.
Okay, wonderful. But he's asleep. That makes it first the bandit's turn. So he's going to fire off a shot at you, Mora, as you're kind of in his way, and
Yep.
he hasn't taken full stock of his situation yet. That's a... That is a 19 to hit
That will hit.
for 6 points of slashing damage. And that brings us to Juro's turn. Juro sees the arrow fly, and he's just close enough that as he comes around 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, he whips around the corner. And he's going to go in for an attack with his short sword. That will hit for 8 points of damage, and he goes in for a second attack. So you see as Juro comes, kind of sword trailing behind him as he runs forward to the bandit and deftly slices across the bandit's chest and then straight decapitates the bandit with basically one movement, coming down low and then just cutting across the head as this moat of blood just shoots up like fireworks in the sky as this heavy-set bandit just kind of drops down dead to the ground. Goro, go ahead and give me a perception check.
A 12.
You are able to see as Ichigo dashes to the horse and is able to jump up onto the back of the horse and kind of unloosen the reins, but that's going to be it. At this point, he's a little over 60 feet away from you in that he uses both his action and his dash to get to the horse, and just in a one leap kind of leaps up roughly into the saddle, and that makes it your turn.
And I can see Nico where he dropped.
Yes, you see a very bloodied Nico, but snoring with kind of a large snot bubble coming out of his nostril.
Can I know Ichigo is gone? I will now go to Nico. I don't want to. I basically want to drag him back. I'm not trying to engage a fight with him. I'm not going to attack him, but I want to drag him back, or maybe it's a grapple so that he isn't able to attack fully, and drag him back to the river bank, to the stream bank or whatever that is.
Yeah, per the spell, as long as you don't have him take damage or you don't shake him or slap him around, he should stay asleep.
Yeah.
Go ahead and let's say I'm gonna allow this to be a strength check, okay? Or sorry, an athletics check, because I just want, as you're moving this very big, very bloody guy, I want to make sure you don't handle him so roughly that it wakes him up, right? But I'll let you go ahead and make a strength check to you kind of lift him up and take him back.
Okay. All right. Come on, big boy. And that is a 14.
Not a problem. You lift him up and you're able to take him back in a way that doesn't break the spell.
Okay, and I just want to leave him on the side of the river bank right there, and if possible on our side. But I want to stay close to him.
Sure. Let me just do a little repositioning here. Okay, and by now this smoke is kind of dissipating.
Yeah, if I can kind of bring him back to just kind of about where, just to the right of, right there. Perfect.
Excellent. Okay, so the smoke is kind of dissipated from that smoke bomb, and it looks as though Ichigo, as you're taking him back, is pretty much prepared to ride. At this point, effectively speaking, all of the players, save for Nico, are off of the map. As you all take a look around, you've lost track of where the other brother went off to. It seems as though Ichigo is quickly getting out of range. We'll run through one quick cycle here in case anybody wants to do anything, which that would have been Ryu. You would have been next.
Yep.
Anything you'd like to do?
Can I... First, I want to drop my concentration on the fog,
Okay.
so it'll dissipate. Can I make a perception check to see if I can see the youngest brother?
Yes.
That is an 18.
You do not see the third brother. Like it's, and I don't mean to say like you've failed the check with an 18. I mean to say you're like looking around where you saw him run into, and you don't notice any sign of him.
Okay. And yeah, I mean that's. Do I see Ichigo? Do I see anybody really? Because Ichigo, I think, is not within sight because he's far away on a horse, right?
Yeah,
Is he already started right?
He's probably like from the river. He's another 60 feet into forest area.
Yeah. Oh, okay, and actually, the only reason I'm asking is because I wanted to cast Hunter's Mark if I saw him, but 90 feet is way too short. Way too short. All right, that's all I can really do. I just kind of slump against the wagon and just like, pain.
Aya, you see as Goro is returning with Nico. Is there anything you'd like to do?
I'm going to look at Goro and down at Nico and then look back into the woods to see where this guy is so far away. And I'm just going to go, I can either heal the rest of us or I can try to take a shot at him. Which should I try? And she's asking that to Goro.
See to the wounded. Let them go. We'll find them another time. We'll find them.
She kind of looks at Ichigo with like a dirty look before turn around and was just like, all right, everybody, if you wanna, here, I can. Oh my God, Ryu! Just looking.
Did we get him?
We got one of them.
Ryu is like kind of slowly.
Yeah, I'm gonna immediately run over to Ryu and kind of like sling one of his arms over my shoulder and kind of like lean him up against the cart, and I'm gonna start prepping a second level prayer of healing. It takes me about 10 minutes to do. So I'm like, here, I can heal everybody up. Just cover me for a few minutes, and I can see to everybody. Give me a minute. And she's going to sit down and start doing that. Maybe good idea to tie up that other brother if we wanted to ask him some questions.
I've got it.
Of course. Awesome.
Mora, is there anything you wanted to do spell-wise or whatnot? You'll be our last one kind of in the order before we officially drop out of initiative.
Now, Mora, I will just sort of fall back with my back against the rock and glance around quickly. Are we all very... Well, Juro, did you get what you expected out of this?
That was the most fun I've had in a while.
Yeah, fun.
Yes. It was a bit of fun, wasn't it?
All right. And I, as long as there isn't anything else that anybody wants to do before I cast this, I will cast Prayer of Healing on all of us in the group, but stop quickly and ask, like, nah, I'm not going to heal him. He got what was coming to him. So she'll heal all of our party members in Juro and not use it on the brother who's knocked out. And everybody this is my last second level spell slot of the day. Pass Prayer of Healing. For everybody gets 15 points back.
Ooh, nice.
I would
Gladly.
Fully recovered.
That just reinvigorates me. I would like to bind Nico's hands and feet. Again, not wake him up, and then I would like to proceed to interrogate him again by the water's edge.
Okay. So once he's tied, you wake him up, and as you're doing this wave of holy magic emanates from Aya, and everybody feels themselves rejuvenated and as if the sister god has embraced each of you, in kind of a loving embrace for just a moment, and all of your hearts and spirits swell as the healing comes through and travels away. As you wake up, Nico, you kind of get this dazed look, and you notice as kind of his back lip his bottom lip is hung low, and his eyes just look vacant to the world, and just
Do I know what's going on with him? Is he just groggy from sleep, or is he like near death?
Go ahead and give me a medicine check.
Can I assist with that, since I'm right there?
Yes.
I'd like to offer assistance.
So is that like advantage or?
Yeah, you get advantage.
Yeah, the two of you are looking at him and poking.
Sweet. It was either
Hey.
15 or 18.
18.
As you are the two of you kind of lean in, right? If the cameras switch to his perspective, it'd be one of those Tarantino-like shots where Aya and Goro just kind of take up the full frame looking at Nico. And as it
A little
cuts,
bit of a fisheye lens
exactly,
there.
a little fish. And as he looks back at you, this vacant stare, and all you get out of him is and kind of drool begins kind of dripping down his mouth, and it's Goro. You kind of like lift him up, you kind of grab him by his armor, you pull him towards you, and you can see that there is where the spiritual weapon had hit, that part of the skull is just completely bashed in. And you think you have someone who might be just entirely brain dead at this point, for lack of a more sensitive term.
Can healing help him? I asked to Aya.
DM.
Give me another medicine check.
All right. 11.
Maybe.
I could try.
Heal him.
Alrighty. And I'll do a cure wounds. This is my last spell slot, guys. Okay. Heal him for 10 points. 10 points of healing.
You notice as you heal him that he's been shot by arrows, he's been bludgeoned and cut, and you see all of these kind of surface wounds begin to heal, and you even see the blood on the back of his head begin to dry and kind of his head kind of reshape a little bit. And for a moment there, he kind of blinks a couple of times. Look like you can see the reflection in his eye again, and his eyes dart for just a fraction of a second before you can tell that he just slips right back into it's something deeper at this point.
And
Well,
I'll kind of reach at the back of my neck, and she goes, I think this is something beyond what it is that I can fix. I'm completely tapped out, and I'm kind of looking down at my hands and like feeling that nope, I've got nothing aside from a few cantrips. I've got nothing left in me for the day.
I realizing this is probably not gonna yield what I want, I just kind of drop Nico back onto his back and kind of walk away past Juro and say, "You can have that one. He's no good to me." Juro and the Thieves Guild can do whatever you want.
Juro will kind of look to him and kind of give a nod and say, "Yes, we'll take care of this." turning to the group, he says, I'm impressed by the four of you. You handled yourselves exceptionally well today.
Do you think anything will come of them? I mean, sure, they are. I mean, they are of some form of nobility, and I think they don't take too kindly to much, as we've seen. What's the next move?
Indeed, they've seen you now, Juro. We might be able to leave here easily enough, but what happens between you and they?
Well, they've always been a cowardly lot at the end of the day. And he kind of looks off in the distance of where Ichigo went. He's a clever one. I doubt we've seen the last of them, but for the time being, most of their men have been killed. I didn't know about the Red Cap and Scorpion. I have to imagine that was their trump in the hole. If I had to guess, I think those two might be laying low for a while.
Sure hope so. That guy really knew how to shoot a bow. I thought I was good. Oof.
Well, do you need our assistance with anything else? If not, I believe we have a group of children to attend to.
Yes, of course. Let's reunite you with the children and have you on your way. Again, I greatly appreciate the four of your assistance. As you can see, this would have been a difficult fight for me to have handled on my own.
Well, hopefully, we stay in the Thieves Guild's good graces, as we... Pleasure working with you.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And he reaches into his, into his vest pocket, and he procures a coin. And Juro kind of steps up to Mora and kind of takes the coin in the palm of his hand and places it in Mora's hand and kind of holds that hand firm, like a solid handshake kind of hold. And he kind of pulls Mora close to him, and in more of a hushed tone says, "You and your party can use this if ever you need a favor from the Thieves Guild." And he pauses for just a moment, and in an even more hushed tone, kind of just up against Mora's ear, will say, "And I would appreciate it if in the future, when you speak of the events today here, make no mention of myself and certainly no mention of my magical capabilities. It would be best if my presence here remained unknown."
I nod and quietly back to him, "Of course."
Well, if you make your way back to the Thieves Guild, you will be reunited with the children. I believe I'll stay here and look after Nico for a bit.
Sounds good.
Thank you again, Juro.
Yes.
He gives each of you a nod and then kind of twirls his cape and as he turns and makes his way over to Nico. The party is able to find their way back to town. Really no problem. And this is the first time you've come back to Two Oaks during the day, right? You arrived relatively late during the storm the night before. And you discover something of a different Two Oaks. The gates are open. There are new guards checking entry, but they allow you through, no problem. And you make your way through the town, and it's a very pleasant town. People are out conversing. There's a little market, and you make your way through the town to the guild, and kind of playing outside of the guild with several kind of hapless and struggling Thieves Guild members that you met the night before are kind of running around and playing and chasing with the children. But all of the children immediately drop their attention when they see the four of you, and you hear shouts of, Mora, Ryu, Goro, Aya, you're back, you're back, you're back! And they kind of run through the picket fence and around the corner and charge the four of you as soon as they see you coming up the way.
I'm gonna kind of weakly give them all like little hugs, like when they come up, like, oh.
Didn't we tell you we'd make it back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We took care of those that tried to take you away. You're all fine now. We're back.
May this be a lesson. Don't run off with strangers. And I pat one on the head awkwardly and then move along.
They all kind of give vigorous nods to this advice, clearly having learned their lesson. Available to the party is, a light breakfast meal laid out by the guild, leftovers from what they kind of had fed the children already. You still have the cart at your disposal, and in fact, Goro had asked about pack mules the night before with the guard, and so kind of provided with the cart now, you find a pair of donkeys that are being lent to you by the City Watch through the Adventurers Guild, kind of alone to get you back to Greenhaven or wherever you'd like to go next.
Perhaps we eat our fill, then take a bit of a rest, and then hit the road.
Agreed.
Yes.
Good rest after that would be nice.
Yeah.
Could use
And I
a bit of recovery for certain.
So I'm definitely ready to leave Two Oaks behind.
Mm.
Been enough action here for a little bit.
I'd like to, before we move on, I'll gather the kids together, because I want to speak to them privately, like just me and the kiddos, and just kind of, I don't know if there's a place where I can take them to kind of sit down, where it's just us, or whatever.
You, in fact, on your way there, you notice, like, not far from the Thieves Guild, kind of across the road and up the way, that there's in fact a small shrine to the sibling gods, which is fairly common, and it tends to be a very kind of quiet, respectful place where people can go and pray or have a quiet conversation, that kind of thing. So you're able to make it over there with the kids in tow as the rest of the party is kind of preparing to have their breakfast meal.
So yeah, I'll walk in, I'll give like a small sign of blessing for the sister goddess and kind of sit down with the kids and be like, okay, so, I don't remember if we've actually sat down and talked with you about where it is that we're trying to go or what it is that we're going to do from here. I grew up an orphan. I never had any parents around, but I was left with a very good group of people who served the sister goddess in a town that isn't too terribly far. Based on our adventuring, I don't think, based on the adventuring that we're doing, I don't think it would be wise to have you children with us because I don't want to see you hurt. I want to see you have a place to live and to grow and to be cared for by people who aren't putting you in dangerous situations like we have. And if you're okay with it, I know a place where I can take you, the monastery that I grew up in that celebrates and worships the sister goddess. I know several people there who are very good people. And I just wanted to hear what you all thought about that.
You mean we're not going to stay with all of you?
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where this group is, where we're going, or what evils or what things we're going to fight against. I just don't want to put all of you into danger's way. You all have already dealt with so much. I want to give you a place. I want to make sure that you find a place where you can be safe and hone your skills. I haven't spoken necessarily with the rest of the group about it extensively, but I just wanted to let you know that where we're headed currently that's one of the directions where we could be going. I kind of start fumbling over my words because I don't really know what to say, just that, because in Aya's mind, she suddenly realized, we never actually really told the kids where we were planning to take them. We should really talk.
At this conversation, at the realization that on a childish level, they all probably assumed that they were leaving the forest because it was dangerous, but probably all of them, though they can't necessarily express it in words, thought they were going back with you all to the forest. And Bryn says something to this effect, we're going back with you to the tree. We're gonna take care of the tree. And both Ani and Hill, Ani was the one who has been working with Mora, break into tears, and Hill is the first to kind of run back towards the Thieves Guild, and seeing this, Ani in tears as well kind of runs back, leaving the boys to the party as they kind of break down. In fairness, having the tree massacred last night, they didn't get much sleep. They were put in the basement, and then you're telling them that you're abandoning them. All of the kids bust into tears, unable to control themselves.
Oh no! I'm so.
And so Mora and Ryu and Goro, you turn and you see several of the kids just gobs of tears running down their face as they run away from Aya, and kind of Bryn and Kale and the other whose name I'm forgetting, just kind of staring at Aya and then slowly walking away from her.
What happened?
Bryn is I hate you! You're liars! You're just as bad as everybody else! And he runs into the Thieves Guild, main hall.
I will, when the time is right, I will follow that child into the Thieves Guild. Not chasing, just follow.
I take a look over at Aya, and then I just spin back, and I'm going to try and follow towards wherever Ani went.
What'd you tell them? What was that?
I was trying to explain to them. I realized that when we came back into town that we never actually told the children where we were going or where we were taking them to. We can't take them back into where the tree was, everything is destroyed. They have no family there. Where else were we going to take them? We'd spoken briefly about maybe taking them to where I'm from, with good people that will help them, carry on and live their lives. And I didn't want to keep the kids, I wanted to keep them informed and let them know, like, hey, I don't, like, there's there.
But why
If we
didn't
want
you talk with us? We could have told them together. Tried to. Oh man. I mean, I guess they would have probably reacted the same anyway. But.
Oh, I probably made it worse. I was just.
Oh.
I wanted them to know. I didn't want to just have us arrive somewhere and just drop them off and say, okay, well, you're staying here now and we're leaving. Goodbye. Like, because that's
you're
what
right.
happened to me.
They deserve to know. You're not wrong, but I don't even know if we know.
Mora and Goro, you find yourselves inside the guild hall and kind of at that main table. Most of the children, Ani, Bryn, the others, are kind of like sitting there, kind of huddled up and kind of whimper crying to themselves, not really sure what to do or say as the two of you come in.
I'm going to make my way over towards Ani and then crouch down next to her.
What do you
I'll
want?
go to.
I'm here right now, Ani. I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to let you know that I am here, and I believe in you. And I have a different plan if you would like to talk to me about it.
Goro, what would you like to do?
I will go and stand before Bryn and say, "You are the one they call Bryn, yes?"
Yes.
I put my spear, I'm holding it straight upright, and I kind of place it in front of him. The world only takes, and you are weak right now. You are not able to take anything back. So the world will continue to take from you until you are strong enough to take what you want and what you need. Take the spear, and I will let him take it, and then I will release it and see what happens, as he's able to hold it or not.
Okay. Yeah, you hand him the spear, and it's large. I mean, it's large and unwieldy in his hands, but like he almost kind of drops it as he takes it. There's this momentary bounce, but he's kind of able to steady it, and it's not as if you've convinced him of anything. Just a reaction to holding it, right?
You have strength within you, but it is untempered and untested. If you want to learn how to be strong and go out into this world and take what you need, then I will train you when the time is right. But for now, the world is a dangerous place, and you are not strong enough for it yet. And I'll snatch it back from him.
Mora, you finish talking, and Ani is clearly curious as to what you have to say.
Would you walk with me for a moment, Ani? I have something I'd like to show you.
Ani kind of nods as she uses the back of her wrist, the palm of her hand, to wipe some tears away from her eyes. The other children are entertained, amused, refocused on the scene that has just played out between Goro and Bryn, and they're kind of you hear these gasps and whispers between them as Goro in a way, kind of challenges and promises something to Bryn. And Bryn kind of has throughout been, kind of heavily leaned towards Ryu's company as well as Goro's. And this is kind of enough to calm Bryn, though you can tell kind of lingering in the air, there's a question about, like, the other, like, what about us? Like, what's going to happen to us kind of thing. As Ani and Mora kind of make their way out of ear range.
Pull Ani perhaps around and even out of the building, certainly out of ear range. But then when there's nobody immediately around us, I'll get down on one knee and I will look her straight in the face and say, "You have amazing potential. You've been studying so hard and you have shown so much already. And there is so much more that you could learn. I wonder, would you like to learn? Would you like to see what you are capable of?"
She takes a moment to think and kind of take in what you've said, and she looks momentarily back kind of in the slightly open door to the guild, and before turning back to you, and begins to kind of nod her head yes.
Even if it means that you must do it alone, without your friends. You would have new friends, mind, but they may not be able to go where you can go.
You look as she kind of bites her lip hard and puts her two palms kind of in front of her face and thinks about it for a moment. Now, without looking at you, begins to nod her head as much to herself as to you.
I reach out and I take her hands in mine. And there's a moment where I'm really struggling, gathering something within myself. And then I'm going to look up very directly at her and open up my hands, and in them, in a series of prestidigitations, I'm going to create images of towers and a city and books and an aging fairy and cats, and say, "This is the place where I learned to do what I can do. And I can take you there, and they will teach you, if you would like."
She can't hide a sense of amazement at what she's seeing, a sense of wonder. And with as much amazement in her eyes, there is also fear. But she continues to nod her head, but now more violently. And that violent nodding of her head kind of turns into her leaping almost out of her shoes as she kind of wraps her small little arms around your neck and just kind of buries her face in kind of the crook of your neck and is nodding vigorously, kind of with this sensation that she knows this is where she needs to go and what she needs to do.
Ani, we want the best for each of you, and we will do what we can. Your path may be different than theirs, but yours will lead you to greatness, and there will be those to take care of you, as there are those to take care of your friends. If you can speak to them, if you can help them know that we only want to help them, please, we will not let anything untoward happen to any of you, and we will be with you every step of the way until you step into your own destiny.
She nods in agreement and kind of takes a step back, reality kind of washing over her. And as she does, the door swings open to the guild hall, and you see Goro standing in the door. And hanging off of his armor are all of the children, pestering him to be able to, like, my turn. I want to hold this spear. Wait, that's not fair. You just let Bryn hold the spear. And Bryn is, like, kind of swaggering, like, out of the guild. Like, you know, he's the only one who got to hold the kid. And, like, they're pulling on his mane. Like, they're holding on to the shoulder armor. And as Goro kind of passes by and they begin to slide off, they see Ryu and Aya kind of still near the shrine, and all of the children kind of in unison, like, raise up a lip and stick out their tongue and use their finger to pull down their eyelid at Aya as they kind of make their way to the cart and the donkeys.
No, Aya hasn't even seen the kids. Like, when they all stormed away, and it was like she got down on her knees and is, like, in silent prayer, like, in front of the shrine.
Well, Ryu sees it.
Ryu sees it. Like, she can hear it happening, but she hasn't turned around.
With that, we will prepare to head onto the open road and into the next stage of our adventure.